Well, hi there on NBCSports.com. Thanks for stopping by after an amazing day. We had a good one yesterday, Mary Carrillo. We had, I think it's safe to say, a better one today. This was historic. One way or the other, we were going to see history here today. Either Roger Federer was going to win his 6th straight, or Rafa Nadal was going to become the first person since Bjorn Borg in 1980 to win both the French and Wimbledon in 1 year. I think what we got was beyond anybody's expectations.
It was historic. It was, at times it was hysterical, what these guys were doing out there. I mean, we talked about this, Jimmy, that this was going to be like Ali Frazier. I mean, Federer in the role of Muhammad Ali, floating like a butterfly, stinging like a bee, and Nadal as Frazier. It went the distance. It really was. It became a boxing match. It became a heavyweight bout. And it's just amazing that someone had to lose something that sublime from both.
Well, I think it's safe to say this may have been one of the best championship matches of all time. Let's take a look at some of the highlights now. These two guys had met the last 2 years here in the Wimbledon Championship final, Nadal and Federer. Federer had come out on top on both. And early, well, Nadal up a break.
Well, what was something was that Roger Federer, unlike last year, it seemed like in the beginning he wanted to get himself to the net. He wanted to, use that, but Nadal came right away. Even though, Roger is a very fine volleyer, Nadal seemed up to the task to pass him.
And maybe I'm wrong, but it just seemed that game that he lost, the break game, it looked like he just seemed a little indifferent. It took him a little while to get warmed up, but once he did, the tennis was extraordinary.
No, it was crazy. It was crazy. I mean, Nadal doesn't normally go for shots like that, but that gave you the sense that these two were willing to do just about anything to try to win a point.
So Nadal took the first set. And then Federer stormed back, but, Nadal still in control.
Yeah, Nadal was, for the first couple of sets, it was all about how tough Nadal was going to be. They had some remarkable rallies, the kind that you never used to see on grass. Look at this. Look at that lunge from Roger. That was just an unbelievably impossible shot to hit to keep this alive, this rally. Finally won by Roger. It was just crazy. It really was crazy. This is still in the second set. Nadal leading 5-4 here, trying to close out a 2-set lead. And he does with stuff like that.
And he was just apparently trying to get it back over the net. And then came the rain delay, at least the first of the 2 rain delays during the match.
And it was at 5-4 in the third, Jimmy. I mean, that's no time you want something to be stopped like this.
Critical juncture, obviously.
Third set went to the tiebreaker. It really did. His forehand, I mean, this was his signature shot coming into the match, and it's what kept him alive and made this such a tough thing for Nadal to close out. There were so many moments like that. There were so many rallies that, I mean, they were hitting 2, 3, 4, 5 winners just to end a rally.
The quality of the tennis was extraordinary. Shots like that, just microscopically. I mean, that's all there was, and he found it. The Federer able to prevail. He takes the second set tiebreak, or excuse me, the 4th set tiebreak in when Nadal was up 5-2 and serving. So after the rain delay, a brief one, they come back out for the 5th set.
And this 5th set was just remarkable. There was nothing between them at this point. You just were trying to hold on it and try to figure out how much more they can go. What else they could do to finally decide who's going to win this championship.
And as you can see, the light is fading at this point. No tiebreak in the 5th set. So it's going to have to go the distance. And Rafa Nadal, finally, after 2 years of frustration, playing against a guy who has owned this court. Perhaps a changing of the guard, as they say here in the town where they made it famous.
Well, I mean, the thing was, the first major of the year was won by the number 3 guy in the world, Novak Djokovic. Second major, the French Open, won again by Rafa Nadal. Now he's won the third major of the year as well. So even though the rankings won't reflect that he's number 1 in the world, he is number 1 in the world, and he's just taken out a guy, I mean, it was a turf war, truly a turf war on the grass court, the center court of Wimbledon tonight.
All right, so we know what this does for Nadal. it's kind of obvious. But let's just talk for a moment about Federer.
We should.
Crestfallen. I mean, he wanted this obviously so badly.
Yeah.
I guess that goes without saying. What do you think the psychological impact of this is? This was his house.
Well, it was, Jimmy, and he only got 4 games from Rafa Nadal last month in the French Open final, and he maintained that he was able to, because it was so quick. I mean, he was so easily dismissed by the guy. He said, "Well, that didn't linger," but there were times in this magnificent match today where he had to know how tough Nadal had become on grass, on his best surface as well. So now, the year's halfway through. He's won 2 fairly small titles. Normally at this stage of the year, he's won 2 majors.
Right.
All right. So, again, I still think he can eclipse Pete Sampras's record of 14 majors. But a lot of us, after how well he played last year when he won 3, we're thinking he can win all 4 this year. We're 3/4 of the way through. He hasn't yet won 1.
Let's talk for a moment about the one remaining major championship of the year. It's an interesting situation because it's on a surface where Rafa Nadal has not had his most success.
Not at all. I mean, Nadal he always front loads his year, Jimmy. He's spectacular in the beginning of the year. He's incredibly good on clay, quite obviously. Now he's won on grass. The rest of his season falls away. Because of the tendonitis in both his knees, he doesn't like the hard court season. But the fact is, he's won 2 majors this year. I cannot imagine thinking that anybody else, and he'll play on the hard courts, and obviously he'll try to do better at the Open. He's never yet had a quality finish, but he's already done everything he set out to do, in my mind, for this 2008 season, and he is such a worthy champion that he was able to hold off Roger Federer the way he did and take the game's biggest prize. Was something to see.
Well, for those of us who like sports and like tennis, the U.S. Open is always a great thing to watch. It just got a whole lot more interesting. Mary Carrillo, it's always a pleasure spending time with you.
Had a great couple of weeks with you.
We'll see you down the road. Okay.
Right.
We will see you all down the road. What a great couple of weeks as usual from here at Wimbledon on NBCSports.com. We'll see you soon.